Thanks so much, Martin. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to listen today. As Martin said, I'm Clair Baxter. I'm the Senior Account Manager at Theorem. I'm here to talk to you today about extended reality in the engineering industry. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Please do come and visit us as well. We're here, we're at stand A15 and A16. We'd love to chat to you. We've brought some hardware with us today. We've got some devices. So if you'd like to try on any of the headsets, try out the technology, we'd love to show you what we can do. And yeah, come and have a chat, come and meet the rest of the team. To outline today's presentation, there are three main topics. Really. The first is how XR technology is delivering efficiency benefits. So I'm going to use a case study today as an example. I'll give you an overview of using XR in the engineering industry, and hopefully that will provide you with some inspiration as to how you might be able to use it in your own organizations. Then more of the infrastructure side, all about how to get your CAD data into the XR devices, and what you need to consider if you want to use this technology. And then lastly, some advice for getting started, and really capitalising on to capitalise on XR. So whether that's you're just getting started in your XR journey, or if you've already invested in XR, how to sell that internally in your business. So to start, a bit of an overview of Theorem and who we are. We're a UK-based engineering and software solutions company. Over the last 30 years, we've been providing software enabling businesses to share their 3D CAD and design data and really extend the value of that data. We've built a global customer base, which we're very, very proud of. Our tools are used every day by leading design, engineering and manufacturing organisations. So we really do understand the CAD and PLM world, and today I'll show you how we can link those worlds and leverage our expertise to bridge the gap with XR. So what do we classify as XR? It's really an umbrella term for augmented, mixed and virtual reality. We classify augmented reality as any 3D virtual models relayed in a real-life context, but through a 2D screen. So, for example, your phone or your tablet. Mixed reality, very similar, but utilises holograms to illustrate the data using a head-mounted device. Finally, virtual reality is being fully immersed in a fully digital world with no real-life context. This isn't new technology, VR being sort of 30 years old with caves and power walls. But what has really changed is the commodity price. So what used to be a £500,000 problem is now more of a £500 problem. So with the commodity price coming down, engineers are looking at these devices and saying, how can we gain value and gain benefit from these devices? So what do we mean by applying the technology? This really is, finding a use case, finding a way to start. I can't cover all of the design and manufacturing processes. I've only got 15 minutes today, but I'm going to use a case study as an example and show you their use cases and how they've used XR to leverage value. But these use cases really can be extrapolated and applied across all sectors, whether you're in automotive, aerospace, AEC, shipbuilding, regardless of your sector, these use cases can apply. So the first topic of today's presentation, how XR is delivering efficiency benefits. So the case study that we're discussing today, it's from one of our US customers, Valiant TMS. So who are Valiant? They are a large, intelligent automation solutions company. They manufacture production lines for customers and ship to them. They were producing machinery from drawings from suppliers. They'd lay out the lines for customers, attend their sites on most occasions, and then build. So we'll dive into where this XR journey all began for them, why and how they started, and then how they implemented XR downstream. So the first step for Valiant moving into the XR world was identifying a core use case. Here you can see on the left-hand side, you've got the 2D drawing of the space in the warehouse where they were trying to fit machinery. And the motto was, there has to be a better way. I think most of the manufacturing engineers that we speak to have at some point in time said this. The 2D drawing is confusing, potentially it can be out of date, potentially it can be incorrect, and it's just not all that clear where this piece of machinery can fit. So this was Valiant's initial use case for XR, visualization in full scale in context. After discussing their use case with us, they discovered they could prepare their CAD data, optimize it, and push it further downstream to a hardware piece of their choice to view it in that scale. The choice of hardware for them was a HoloLens. So as you can see here, this is the same space Valiant were working with, but this hologram is a photo taken from within the HoloLens. And you can see how much clearer this is for their design and manufacturing engineers. They can even measure in reality over the hologram to place markers, avoiding any kind of issues or errors. It's imperative to have a core use case to start, but here are some further use cases which developed once Valiant were happy with the first use case efficiency gains. This one is a new layout review, with this being needed to lay out the customer's production lines, both in-house before shipping and on customer site for laying out. They were able to leverage their rich 3D CAD asset and walk through this process to help visualize the layout. Maintenance accessibility review is up next. Anything which will need to be reviewed for maintenance purposes, this can all be done beforehand and it can be done without needing to be on site. And we know how expensive it can be to move things for review and maintenance purposes. Collaborative design review, the design can be viewed globally and as frequently as required for sign-off. This is a huge use case. This is one of the major use cases that we really see for XR. It's saving engineers travel time and cost. You could see there we had our engineer in his living room at home. This has been especially prevalent since COVID, with a lot of engineers now working from home, but they still get the benefit of viewing at full scale from the comfort of their own home. Another couple of examples here with tool build reviews and tool adjustments with virtual metal, so they can set the fixtures in the right places. When we asked Valiant what the best return on investment examples were for XR, they said tasks that took days now take hours. So it's all about saving time and cost. Identifying errors prior to shipping is a great visualization benefit, as they also have to manufacture smaller tools for the operators to use on the machines in left hand and right hand. They've saved numerous errors in shipping by visualizing these products and checking off the left and right hand tooling. On-site reworks were reduced and reduced penalties, including scrappage. So they became more competitive and ultimately they were winning more business. So there was really this philosophy of getting it right the first time. To illustrate some of the examples where that value is being unearthed, you can see some examples where XR has been used to help to do something faster, to do a task differently, to bring better understanding or enhanced collaboration and efficiency. For example, here, customer engagement, bringing the customer into the design process at an earlier stage, so bridging the gap between the design intent. And you can see here there are so many XR use cases, and this really is an ever-growing list. We know the importance of thinking differently about the day-to-day tasks that you carry out. Sometimes a small change can bring huge efficiency gains, saving time, saving cost, and improving efficiency. So it's really about understanding and exploring your use case. And I would really, invite everyone here today, if you are thinking about XR, if it's something you're interested in, to have a little think about, are there innovative ways that you could improve efficiency, save time, save cost? Where could you start with XR? Identifying that initial use case is really important. Over to the second part of the presentation, preparing your CAD data and some considerations for what you need to do with XR. It's absolutely key to understand your data flow to be able to prepare and optimize your data for use in XR. What you really need to consider is how you take your data and get it into your device, and that really is where we come in. What we'd argue you want to avoid is lots of manual data processing, a high degree of training, the need to understand complex code, for example. This can all be a barrier to adoption in many businesses. You know, when you introduce XR, you want it to be fast, reliable, and easy to use if you're going to get that internal buy-in. So what we do is take your CAD data, optimize it, and then supply an output to view in your chosen XR device or your chosen XR application, align to your use case, and then leverage the value from it. And they're really the first steps that you need to take to get those efficiency gains from XR. Some considerations as well, you know, you need to consider how you're going to take your data into these devices. Who is that going to be? Is it going to be the engineers themselves who design in CAD? Is it going to be somebody else? You need to think maybe about the limitations of your XR devices as well. If you go for example, tethered VR, you're not going to be able to go out onto the shop floor because you're tethered. If you go for untethered VR, for example, you can go onto the shop floor, but then the untethered VR can be a little bit less powerful. So it's all about thinking about the limitations of your devices. Of course, the devices in time, they are going to get more powerful, they're going to get more lightweight, but you really need to start somewhere, you know, think about where you are now and kick that off now so that you can really get the benefit in, you know, 5 years' time. You've already invested significantly in your rich CAD assets. So what's the process to get them into these new XR devices, especially at an enterprise level? Optimizing your data for XR is essential. There can be a trade-off between the file size and performance within XR. So some of the solutions that we offer, shrink wrapping, for example, removing the internals. By excluding these, there are fewer triangles to render, and that improves the quality and performance of the data set. Another example is part culling. So this is perhaps removing some of the parts that you don't necessarily need to see. For example, you could remove the nuts and bolts. It just makes the data set a bit more lightweight, a bit more agile. Tessellation, so the triangles. So you can change the level of tessellation depending on your particular use case. As you can see in this example, the more triangles, the more well-rounded the shape, but then the heavier the model. That's the trade-off. And then lastly, assembly structure. So this could be just the pure shell of the model, but that does make it so much more lightweight, so much more agile, and so much easier to work with. So getting your data into XR, what we're showing here is our software. So we're optimizing the CAD data. Engineers can drag and drop files into our user interface. It's very quick, it's very simple, it's very easy to use. You don't need a lot of training on this. So this is really important to get internal buy-in and internal adoption. As we were saying earlier, you know, to get that buy-in, your engineers have to be comfortable with using it. It has to be quick and easy. So these are just some of the examples that you might need to think about when you're taking your CAD data into XR. So finally, the last part of today's presentation is our advice, some takeaway messages and some key things for getting started in the XR space. Whether you're getting started with your XR journey or if you've already started, how to capitalize on it further. Identifying quick wins is a really great place to start when getting into XR. If we take Valiant's use case as an example, they identified a quick win using visualization. Maybe your engineers are spending hundreds of hours building cells in cardboard, in MDF, in paper. And the question is, you know, could there be a better way of doing this? Are there other processes internally that you can think of where you could say, perhaps there's a better, quicker, faster, more efficient way of doing this? Identify target use cases. What do you want to focus on? It can build off quick wins or be something you want to move into, be it new floor layouts, design reviews, virtual prototyping. Pick the main use case that you want to start with. Prepare to be flexible. Please don't assume that XR will solve all of your ills with one use case. Sometimes some creative thinking can be needed, and sometimes you might even need to change hardware to get the most from your devices. Consider scalability. There really is an opportunity for mass XR adoption. It can be used on an enterprise level. The technology is always improving, but to take advantage, your business needs to think through your own IT infrastructure, the IT parameters, the data workflows, and all of that can be started now. If you've already adopted XR internally and you're trying to capitalize on it further, you're trying to get more internal buy-in, please feel free. We'd love to speak to you guys. A major part of our business, what we do is talking to people about the XR technology and how to use it. So we'd be more than happy to have a discussion with you on that. So please do come and see us. We're at stand A15 and A16. If you have any questions, if you'd like to try on the devices, we have brought the headsets with us today, so you can come and try those on. You can have a look at our technology, see what we do and how we do it, and meet the rest of the team. Thank you so much for your time today.